Hello, hello. Welcome once again to another episode of the Hungry Bleak podcast. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you've had a great week. Um, I hope it wasn't too much on you because I know there's a lot going on. And I just realized, hold on, there's a lot of moon stuff going on today. I think today is a full moon. I think, yeah, I'm wearing a moon night T-shirt. I think everything's converging that was supposed to happen today was supposed to happen. So let's jump right into it. All right. So there was a new comic recently came out called Luna, and this is from Konkret Comics. And I'm lucky enough to have the writer and creator of this really, it's just really fun and beautiful comic. I had a ball reading it. So without any further ado, let's bring up Moon the Storyteller. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing this day?
I'm good. I'm doing good.
So first off, thank you for being here. But secondly, yeah, this was a really fun comic, beautifully drawn, beautifully written.
Thank you.
Um, yeah. First, let me ask you, how did you get into comics writing?
I'm a newbie. I'm a noob. My son would call me a noob. I about let's see, it's 2023. Back in
Mhm.
2018, when I saw Chadwick Boseman portray T'Challa. That's how, and that just motivated me to kind of throw myself into the comic book world. And we've always had superhero, like as far like probably I can count 20 years back, we've always had superhero films and TV shows, but it wasn't until his performance was I actually inspired to jump into the comic book world. And I just started reading a few titles, but not I didn't really know a whole lot, so just like the typical titles, Wonder Woman.
Right.
um I think I picked up like Captain America. What's the young girl's name? The one that punches the
Uh,
star and goes to the multi and goes through the
oh,
multiverse. That one.
America Chavez.
Yes. So I started reading a lot of female centered comic books,
Hmm.
and I was like, wow, I really can, I'm really getting into this. But around that same time, I started writing again. And so I started writing about this character who would eventually become Luna.
Hmm.
But it started off as a novel. And then, but I'm reading, I'm reading these comic books, and I was like, well, why don't I turn this into a comic book? Because I'm I don't really do well with writing long things because I always give up. I've always written, but I never finish the story. So I said, if I do a comic book, then I can probably finish this story finally. So that's how I got into comic book writing. But I've always loved to write. I just never wrote for comic books. So um, when you look at the comic book, you if other writers know that I came from probably a novel writing background because I'm very the words I use and different things is not the typical comic book. So, but that's long story short. That's how I got into comic book writing.
Now that you say that it was supposed to be a novel, it makes sense because of the
Hmm.
feel of the book. And when I was reading it, that actually sheds a lot of light on it. With because when I was reading it, first off, I want to give a shout to Ian Sebastian
The artist.
and the incredible art. It reminds me of Alessandro Capuccio and Rachel Rosenberg, who are doing the new Moon Knight series, and their art is absolutely beautiful. I love it. So when I was looking at it, it felt like their art with a little bit of an anime almost flavor, and I loved it.
Thank you. I'll
It-
let him know that
yeah.
he is amazing, and he's based out of Asia.
Okay.
So, you can kind of see those influences throughout the book, but
Hmm.
especially on that cover, the main cover of the comic book. So I love it.
Yeah, it definitely it has that feel, and the variant cover, what we were talking about earlier. When I first saw it, I swore it was Jamal Campbell, who is another one of my favorite far sector. is the comic that comes to mind immediately when I think of him. But he's done so many other books. So that's looking at the art, the cover, and I was like, "Is that?" And so that's why I asked you who did that cover. And it's,
Uh,
yeah, Ian's art is phenomenal. I love the fact that in the comic it goes from this kind of cold, desolate, dark feeling when the character is being thrown into the prison, and then you
mhm,
go right from that page to this very warm, bright feeling page with Luna and her parents. I thought that was a great contrast, but to be able to capture both of this dark and cold, but also this warm and loving moment was absolutely phenomenal. And that
mhm,
was great storytelling in and of itself, along
mhm,
with your writing.
mhm,
So incredible work
mhm.
on that. I absolutely, I because I'm reading, and I'm like, yeah, this is so. You saying novel, it really makes a lot of sense to me, and
Mhm.
it really fits because you did a
Thank
phenomenal job.
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And yes, Ian is a storyteller.
Hmm.
That's what makes him a really great artist. He can draw, that no question about that. But when I allowed him early on in the process, I learned the to allow him to create and interpret the dialogue in the way that he sees it, so he can create freely. And so yeah, I learned, don't, there's no micromanaging. I just send him the dialogue. I said, hey, I just want to make sure we have this in this page, but just go for it. And his angles, his focal points, he knows when to do this. It's amazing. It's almost like when I read it, it's almost like a storyboard for a movie. When I
Mm,
see it, so it's incredible. I enjoy working with him. We're working on issue number 2 right now.
that great. Yeah, I'm crossing my fingers, hoping somebody wants to do some things with this movie. I mean, animated series. I mean, whatever. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying these
Yeah,
words.
take it. Yeah, I'll just throw it out there.
Just
Throw
saying
it out
these
there.
words. I mean, come on, because I absolutely love this story. It almost felt like um uh kind of soap opera, which
Mhm.
I'm a fan of soap operas.
Yes.
General Hospital, All My Children, Loving, oh my God, One Life to Live, like what have you. So I loved it, and I love the fact of it because there was a part that was kind of messy, and I was like, but I was like, yeah, yeah, and I kept flipping through it because I was enjoying it because I just turned off General Hospital, and I was like, okay, cool. So I'm reading through, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, and I was like, oh, that's not, but I was like, yeah, 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 yeah. So I enjoyed it because it was like you had a nice amount of the this kind of, I feel like it could be like this epic star spanning story. You have this loving family, you have this action, but then you have this little bit of messiness. So you have a little bit of everything in there, which I loved.
Thank you so much. Just to give a synopsis for those who aren't familiar with the story,
Please do.
Luna is a futuristic love adventure with superpowers. When you read it, I wanted to make sure that you felt a lot of emotions as you read through it. That is my goal, is for you to feel something. So some people might hate it, some people might love it, some people might be like, wow, what did she do? Why is she doing that? That's exactly how I wanted to read. And so what it's about is, after a visitor from the future, Queen Luna, which is the my main character there on the cover, she discovers that she's an energy keeper, or someone with superpowers, and she's the only one that can save her world from an evil threat. This story takes place thousands of years into our future. The heroes of old Earth are gone, so no Iron Man, no Black Panther, none of that.
Mm.
And but the universe has birthed a new generation of superheroes called energy keepers. So some energy keepers, um, the purpose of the energy keepers is to maintain the balance of the universe, maintain the balance, order, peace of the universe.
Right.
Some have stayed true to that calling, others have not. So you'll see that, as you saw in the first issue, you'll see that start to play out. That plays out through this first series. And then you have this, um, I don't want to give it away, but basically Luna finds herself in the middle of that. So that's what it's about. So if you like X-Men, which I feel like X-Men, especially with the older one, the older X-Men that we got
Hmm.
like the early 2000s, that drama, that those love triangles,
Mm.
that guilt, those rich backstories. If you love that type of storytelling, then you'll love Luna. So yeah, that's a little bit about what it's about.
Yeah, you definitely will. And as always, folks, I'm gonna have the link in the episode description so you can go and check out Luna and go purchase. As I'm showing you the page here, as you can see.
Hmm.
Yeah, this was the cover that I thought for a second. I had to double check and go, is that Jamal Campbell? Because that cover feels like his energy, but it's beautiful. I yeah, the cover this cover alone, like the cover with just Luna on the front, hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, first off, purple is my favorite color, so I was like, oh, this is yeah. So I definitely enjoyed that, and the story does it. It feels very rich, and you saying X-Men and the love triangle, yeah. I definitely felt yeah because that was a lot of love triangle. There was a lot of love polygons going on in the X-Men back in the day.
Yeah.
There was a lot of mess. So
Yes.
how did you get connected with Concrete Comics?
Hmm. Um, I was I believe I was following them on Instagram because I did come across one of their posts to buy one of their bundles.
Okay.
So I ended up buying one of their comic book bundles. Like it came like 5 or 6 issues. And when I got it, I was like, this is amazing. This is a Black owned brand. I want to
Mhm.
post it to my story. So I posted it to my story and I tagged Concrete Comics. And Anaji, who is the creator and writer of Odina and Kandaki, also under the Concrete label, he reached out to me because he saw that picture of Luna, the one with the pink that on the cover. And he was like, "Who is
Yes.
this character? Who is she?" So through our DMs, I was talking to a little bit to him about Luna and my plans for her, and he says we got to get you into Concrete. So I met with Daniel, who at the time was the editor, and then eventually I met with Lonzo, who is the CEO, and that's
Mhm.
how I joined the Concrete family.
That's awesome. It's so beautiful that they came across and they were like, you know, what is this? We want this, and that they reached out to you for that. And it's funny how you were a fan, and then and then for the company that you were fanning for to reach out to you and say, we want this. It's so beautiful. And like he
Wow.
was saying, black owned business, black comics, and the black indie scene has just been getting larger and larger and just
Mhm,
expanding more and more and bringing in more creatives. So
mhm,
I'm so glad that you have this beautiful experience as your first time, and it's just going to keep getting better and better. That's
mhm.
awesome.
Thank
What
you.
are your aside from working on issue 2 of Luna? Do you have any other stories or plans that you want to bring to Concrete?
Um, I do have some stories that I would love to kind of explore after I finish Luna,
Hmm.
especially this first series. Because after this first series, I feel like there will be two really great kind of spinoffs,
Hmm.
soap opera spinoffs.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
one that's focused on the children, because there are going to be children in this story.
Mhm.
And then the other focused on one of the antagonists, Zoe. So um, I want to do a series based off of him, a limited series. But I think he I can say this without giving anything away.
Okay.
He puts you in the mind of a Killmonger. You just
Ooh.
don't know how, like, you don't really know. I want people to feel a connection to this character because he has very good reasons as to why he is the way he is in this series. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. But he's one of the characters that I would like, if I had to meet him up close, I would ask him certain questions. And those questions I would like to answer through a series just dedicated to him.
Okay. Okay. That
Mhm.
yeah. The ending with Zoe kind of I was like, uh, like I kind of got a little, but that was again that kind of soap opera-ish feel that I love, and it pulled me in because I was like, damn, but okay, that's a great way to hook me even more. Okay, all right, bet, all right,
Great,
I like
great.
it. Yeah,
I
because
love cliffhangers. I
I mean,
love when people do it to me. I love it when I watch a movie or read a book and I'm like, you're looking
mhm.
like, what happened? That's how I want people to feel when they read this.
I love that, especially with comics, because if you leave me with an ending that I'm just like, meh, but if you give me an ending where I'm like, wait, hold on, because I'm so caught up in everything else, I didn't see that, and I was like, oh, and I was like, okay, cool. So that's a good cliffhanger to bring me in, and I probably will end up going back and rereading it to see if I missed something along the way that I should have seen that already. That's
So
what I love.
yeah, so I'm working with the editor now for issues 2 through 6, and I'm actually thinking that it might be extended to 8 issues, to a total of 8 issues, just because I just have so much to tell. But the editor, was asking me, about how to make sure that every scene and every line has a place. Like, why are you telling us this? Why are you showing us
Mm,
this? And I can honestly say that every scene in issue number 1 is very important. So when you read issue 2, you are going to go back to issue 1. You're like, wait a minute, because I'm going to have like little directions. You know how some of the comic books, they have like little directions. Oh, go back to issue 1 of this.
yeah,
I'm going to do that. And you're going to be like, what? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed that. But I try to, like with issue 2, there might be, some Easter eggs in there. So I'm just, it's just a really fun process. It's just so fun.
this I I love the fact that you're already thinking about storytelling and world building, but I also love the fact that as you're doing this, you're learning along the way and incorporating it, and the fact that you're so just excited and exuberant about the process of it and everything that shows in the work as well, which is
Yeah,
what makes Luna such a great book.
thank you.
So that's awesome to see. I love that, and again, I love that your first experience has been so great. I'm like, the next one and the next one, it's just going to keep getting better and better. So I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, being a creative and just a human being nowadays, and being a black woman,
Mm.
it's so important to have your mental health and your self-care. Is there anything that you have found as you've been writing and going through the comic book process? Has there been any self-care tip that has helped you to stay focused and grounded and keep your bearings?
Hmm. So I'm a nurse. I'm a registered nurse.
Oh.
That is what I do. And if I want to make money, I can make money. That is no question. I
Mhm.
can, however much money I want to make, I can make it. There's no end to what I can do. But I found that the more that mentality stressed me out.
Mm.
Having to leave the house every day, a few days a week, and work for someone else. And even though, I can put away money, I like nursing. I feel like it means to support what I really like to do, which is to create. But being in that environment, constantly having to take care of other people, you can easily get drained. You can easily, you know, become empty. And so what I found was that I had to start to pull away from nursing. And so I found other avenues to make money.
Hmm.
And so now I just, I work a few days a month. And that really has helped me with my self-care, helped me with my
Hmm.
blood pressure,
Good.
and not being so stressed. So I learned how to kind of let that go and rely more on God to pay, to help us pay our bills, help us
Hmm.
find a way to trust me, I had to pay. This is a bootstrapped. I have to pay for my own, the artist. I'm paying for that. I'm paying for, we just had a really successful crowdfunding campaign, but that's going to be reinvested into, the business.
Right.
So it has taken a lot of sacrifices, you know, um, but I think pulling away from letting go of stability and letting God kind of guide us and direct us and allow me to kind of just breathe and create. That really has helped me with my mental health. Second is, focus, always going back to the reason why I wanted to start writing Luna. And it's because of my son. My son is my biggest inspiration. He is my perspective. And I want him to see that his mommy, even though she's in her 40s, she never let go of her dream to create this story. So I want to encourage. I want him to see that you can dream, but you can make your dreams come true to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
But so those two things, kind of letting go of a really stressful job, and then focusing on my son and making sure that he understands why I do this. And there's times where I've been up late, 1, 2 o'clock writing, but I always make sure that he knows, like, this is for us. I hope one day this story, we can see this story on Netflix. Netflix is one of our favorite streaming channels. One day I want to be able to see this in the top 10, and this is going to be dedicated to you. And even one of the characters, actually two of the characters in the series is inspired by him. So, but yeah, and of course, I have my husband. He definitely is very supportive. Family time, but that's just a really long way to say. As you can see, I'm a writer. Um, uh, Letting go of a stressful job, and then focusing on my perspective, focusing on my inspiration, which is my son. So, yeah.
That is very important, and I mean, in a culture now, unfortunately, where sometimes it's all about hustle, 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 and you burn yourself out, and
Mhm,
then there's nothing there. You're depleted, you're drained, and you're true that there are jobs that you take everything out because you are giving into someone else.
mhm,
You are, so it can be depleting, it can be draining, that healing, helping someone heal, I should say.
mhm,
So to have the wherewithal to again say, you know, an empty cup can't pour into something. It can't.
mhm,
It's not there. So the fact that you found that out and you realized it and it helped your blood pressure, like you're saying, which is so important,
mhm,
and that, you know, you put it at ease and you just said, look, this is what it's going to be. You found your way, and that's
mhm,
awesome. And that's more and more what I see. A lot of creatives that are just so, they're just like, so, for those who didn't see who are just listening to the podcast part and not the actual video, it's so, just so tense. They just, their shoulders up by their ears and their fists are constantly clenched. And like, I have a friend who, incredible creative, but is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And you can hear it in someone's voice. You can see it. So when you see them actually decompress and their shoulders just melt, and okay, because it can be a stressful um, process, but
yeah,
you find those moments when you need to do you need that me time,
mhm,
whether it is going out for a walk, whether it is praying on it, whether it is making a cup of tea at 7 o'clock at the same time every morning, whatever it is you got to do. So I'm glad that you found that. I'm glad that you were able to share that with us, because there are creatives that don't take that time, and you have to. You really have to. Now,
yeah, yeah,
you know,
mhm,
another thing, self care is, well, one of my self care technique topic picks is comics, obviously. So, can you give me 3 comic book recommendations that
mhm.
you think people should read?
Yes, I have them right here.
Yes.
So, now this is an old one, but this is the Wakanda Forever, by Nettie. Let me get the Core
Okora
Four.
4. Yep.
Yes, and I thought this is a really great read because it takes you, like, it's like past, present, and future.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a while since I read this, but I have it kept here and, like, on my desk, because this is like a good reminder of, the type of the writing I like, and the way I want people to feel about my writing. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to evoke this same type of emotion, action, like suspense, she really does a great job um, using different story tools, that I think a lot of writers could learn from. I'll just leave it like that. So, and this is what I would want to aspire to, is if I can have this same, um, style, and not style, but same impact,
Yes.
if that makes sense. So this ran from, I believe this was back in 2019, but I can't think it was 2019, I
I think so.
believe.
Yeah, because there were 3 different issues for that one.
Yeah.
There was the one that was Wakanda. There was one with the X-Men. And there was one with the Avengers.
Okay.
Yeah, there were
I
three
think I
different stories,
just
but
got
they
this
were,
one.
so good. They were just,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
they were awesome.
The Spider-Man, X-Men, Avengers.
Oh,
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Spider-Man, X-Men, Avengers. Yeah.
yeah. Because I think Peter Parker
Oh,
actually went to Wakanda.
right. Well, I think it
Yeah.
was New York.
Oh, it was in, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Remember
in New York.
Malice. Malice was acting a fool,
Yes,
and
yes,
she was in New York, and that's how Peter Parker came into the scene.
yeah.
So that was that first issue. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a great pick. What else have you got for us?
The second one I have is, let me take it out of the thing. This is another indie comic. This is Women's History Month, so I'm going to talk about women. So this is another one called Firebird. It's
Oh,
an indie comic, and it's written by, oh my goodness, the last name is Denny. Her first name escapes me, but it's called Firebird, and
Firebird.
it's through Kente Comics.
Okay.
So it's a really great read as well, and I really loved it because it's very futuristic, like Luna,
hmm
and the she sets it up where, like, you just want to know what happens next. So that's a really great read.
Okay, I'm gonna check
And
that
then,
out.
yeah, Firebird, and then of course, um, this is a title off of Concrete,
Obviously,
Kodaki.
yes.
um when I read this, I asked Anaji, I said, how come you didn't come out with this one first? Like, he has the Adina series and then this
hmm
one. I said, this is the one that you should have came out with first, because I like Odina, but I related more to this character, Amani. This is
hmm
Amani. So um this is a really, this in the artwork, what really drew me in was the artwork. Let me just show you this one scene. um this scene. It looks like it puts you in the mind of the artist who drew for um Good Times. I forget but you see that
Ooh,
art. Look at that. That
yeah, that does
exaggerated,
feel it.
those exaggerated lines.
hmm
I love that whole style, and it puts you in the mind of the one who drew for Good Times. I can't remember what his name was, but I love that exaggerated art form,
hmm
the emotion that you get from that. The way I don't know what it's called, because I'm not an artist, as you can tell, but it's just that artwork is all throughout the book. And then of course the dialogue is just amazing. And so it is PG-13, so just parents got to read this before you give it to your child. But I love those. Those are my those are my 3 recommendations for this month. And then the last 2, of course, are women. So we're celebrating Women's History Month. So yeah, so Kandaki through Konkret Comics, and then Firebird through Kente Comics, and then of course Wakanda Forever.
Those are really great picks. Awesome. I was waiting for you to pull out something from Concrete because I was like, she's going to represent. She has to represent for Concrete.
Yeah.
She has to. She can.
Yes.
She has to. She has to. She has
Yes.
to. So that was
You got to
awesome.
keep it concrete. Yes.
You have to. So thank you very much for those picks. But look, the name of the show is the Hungry Bleak Podcast. Hungry. It's in the title. Hungry food. I got to bring up food somehow. I think I'm contractually obligated to at this point. I have
Oh
to.
yeah. Yes. I
So,
don't mind.
so if you could give me a restaurant and a dish that you love at that restaurant, any restaurant that you want, could be any
Yeah.
place.
I'm a simple girl. So yesterday we went to Chili's.
Okay.
And so I usually get the half rack, dry rub half rack with a
Mm-hmm.
side of the barbecue sauce. And then I get broccoli and fries. And then, of course, whatever margarita I'm feeling like. And yesterday I got a strawberry margarita. So with salt around the rim.
Okay. Okay. See, I
Yes.
have a Chili's that's maybe like 5 minutes from me,
Mm-hmm.
and my go-to is always, and because I'm very simple, basic. Like, I should say my friend would actually be upset if I said that. My tastes and such are very simple and kind of basic. Because when I said I'm simple and basic, like you're anything but simple and basic. You're one of the most complicated people. I'm like, I don't think so, but what have you. So when I go there, I usually have the same thing: chicken crispers, the original, because I like beer batter,
Mm-hmm.
extra fries. I don't want the corn on the cob. Just give me extra fries and extra honey mustard.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's something about their honey mustard is so, I don't know what it is. It's something, I'm not sure. I don't know if they make it there, what have you, but it's so different from any other place I've had honey mustard from.
Their sauces, like my husband's Mexican, so the sauce, like, he makes chips.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, this salsa, I can't. They put something extra in this salsa because I can't replicate it. And I said, oh, it's lime. He's like, it's not lime, babe. He could tell it's they're in there, but even the barbecue sauce is really good. Usually I don't like vinegar like based,
Mm-hmm.
sauces, but their sauce is really, really good. I'm more of a tomato based barbecue sauce girl
Okay.
from the Carolinas. But
There you
I
go.
don't, this is, I guess, Texas, New Mexico, they have to marry, the South, the Tex-Mex kind of
Yeah,
thing.
that's Southwest.
Um, I like it. I love it. I don't know what they put in it, but it's good. So I don't know what they do with their sauces, but they got something. They add a little extra sazon to
Yeah.
their sauces.
They got sprinkle a little bit extra in there. They got,
Like
stir it up real
what's
good.
the salt baby.
Yeah, they stir it up and then they do like to the left and then they do to the right 3 times and then just let it sit
Uh-huh.
for an hour.
Play a little music, let it sit,
That's
and
it.
then
Look,
come back.
however, I will tell you there's something I don't know what it is, but I went to a place in New York. It's called And Pizza. It's a fast food pizza place, but everything is freshly made. They make it right in front of you.
Mm.
It's like a thin crust, is maybe about this big. It's like oval shaped. Well, not oval shaped. Even that's kind of like an oblong shape. And they'll ask you, what type of cheese you want, what type of sauce you want, what have you. The first time I went in there, first or maybe second time I went in there, I was there by myself. And I went in and I was telling the young lady what I wanted. I forgot what song was playing on the radio, but as she was making my pizza, she was dancing. I didn't care because she was having a good time. And I like to see people, if they're at work, having a good time, feeling good about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I had no problem with it. And she was throwing the cheese on and she was like milly whopping. And as she was doing the cheese, and I'm just standing there like, okay, all right, yeah, yeah. Uh, Let me tell you something. The food was already seasoned, but that dancing added a little extra seasoning to the food.
Uh,
I said, look, I'm not the type of person to really do this because I don't think it helps sometimes, but whatever. I went on Yelp and I wrote a review and I said, I don't know what this young lady was doing. It seasoned my pizza perfectly. I
uh-huh.
was just I felt so good that I ended up having soda, which I don't drink. I just don't like soda. But they have a soda called well, they had it, of course they don't have it anymore. It's called cereal milk,
Oh,
where it tasted like cereal milk.
wow.
And it was like a cream soda.
Uh-huh.
And I had that along with the cream soda, and I was like, I'm living my best life today. Like there was nothing else. And I think it was like maybe early afternoon. I had just
Uh-huh.
gotten into the city. I think maybe I was going to do a podcast that I was a part of years ago. And I was like, you know what? Let me go get this pizza because it's a pizza that you can eat by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But you can take it one, but you can go and eat what have you. I wish they had them in here in Jersey because I need that place. I have to go to New York to get it. But it was the most beautiful thing. So when you say turn on the music, look, if that's what it takes to get your sauce right, you put on
Mm-hmm.
whatever you got, whatever. You let me know what song it is though, because I want to know what I need to put on for my sauce.
You know
Yeah.
what? She awakened something in your brain. So, our brains are amazing, but I feel like when we dancing, music, joy, they awaken something within our brains and that we connect that to whatever we're in the middle of. Like when
Mm-hmm.
I had my son, the next morning I was so happy. My son was here. we had a really complicated labor, a few
Mm.
scares, but he was here. I was holding him. And let me tell you, I was in the hospital. Okay. I just had a C-section. I was I was in pain, right?
Mm.
I was everything you know about C-sections, everything you know about women after having a baby, that's what I was going through, right? The nurse brought in my breakfast, and I will never forget it. It was French toast, bacon, and eggs.
Mm.
That was the best French toast I had ever had. And you know it wasn't, but
Mm.
it was because I was so happy that my son was finally here. And so I will forever link that French toast with the birth of my son. And it's hospital food, you know. So I'm not trying to diminish your experience, but I'm just saying, to the
Well,
power of dance and joy and music, that does away something in us. And that's the beautiful thing about, us, being human, and but especially us, we will
yes.
find, even when we get a good plate, what we doing? Dancing.
And holding that plate and be just like,
We dancing, yeah. It's like, oh my gosh, who made this? Who
not
made
even sitting down. You stand there eating like
this?
paper plate. You just like
Uh,
tinfoil hanging half off the plate because you just trying to get used to.
right.
Look, let me tell you, so I was in the hospital a few years ago. I was in the hospital for about 2 weeks,
Mm.
and they asked me what I wanted to eat. I thought I was on restricted food, but they were like, "Oh no, no, you're fine." So I was like, "Okay." So I said, "You know what? Let me." They said, well, tonight we have like hamburger and like potato wedges." I said, "Yeah, I'll eat that." Let me tell you something. That was, I said, I was sitting there, I was eating, I was like, damn, this is, now again, maybe it was because I had almost died, maybe it was because I was extra hungry,
Oh, I don't mean
not
to laugh.
not hungry, but hungry. I was extra
Yeah.
hungry. HONE gree.
Yes.
I don't know what it was, but I was eating, I was like, damn, that I had it 3 more times and it was still just as good.
Hmm.
It did not diminish. So there
Hmm.
is something in your mind, but I think it was, again, because it's us.
Hmm.
I think that young lady dancing and just feeling it and vibing on it. I haven't, the pizza there is always great, but it hasn't been as great as that time.
She
So her,
infused that energy. Like
she did
she
that.
had that energy and she infused it. And that's something, I talk a lot about. That's really, how Luna's powers work.
Mm-hmm.
She feels energy, she emits energy, and she attracts certain types of energy. She attracts all types of energy, actually. And it's a play on the moon. The
Yes.
moon attracts, pulls, pushes, directs. But it's a constant force. We know the sun exists, obviously,
Right.
but the sun does disappear, quote, disappear on our side of the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the moon is always there. The moon is always there, which is why we always we have gravity, which is why the oceans respond the way they do, which is why
Mm-hmm.
animals respond the way they do. So Luna, I really drew inspiration from the moon and its energy and how it gives us our energy and works its energy on nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Luna does throughout this story. And my hope is that people can appreciate the beauty of nature through this story, because that's one of the themes, in this story. So, but yeah, I'm always about energy and recognizing moments where we can pull energy from this source and that, and dancing and music, eating.
Mm-hmm.
And not only is it physical, but also, spiritual, in some aspects. And dancing and music and food is a part of our culture. That's all we had, right?
Yep.
That's all we had, and we had to make the best of it. We didn't have the same things that the other cultures were able to keep. We were, a lot of it was taken from us.
Yep.
So food and dancing and music, that never died. That's within us. You can go anywhere in this world and you can find us, music and dancing and food is a part of that culture,
Yep.
without a
Somehow
doubt,
we're infused into it. Like it's
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
that's I always feel much better during a full moon. I've always been that way. Even as a kid, it just felt but like when I was out today, I was I took a late night walk and I saw the moon and I was like, it just felt so good. Like even early in the day when I saw it in the sky, it was full and I was like, everything's kind of lining up today, which is cool.
Mhm.
The moon is out. Just read a comic called Luna. I have Moon the Storyteller is on. I said, so let me put on this Moon Knight t-shirt and just complete the whole puzzle. And it was
Mhm.
awesome. So yeah, I look, this has been phenomenal. I hope that much like Luna and the way that she's able to attract energy, that she's able to attract even more readers to this story because it was phenomenal. It was a great read. It was fun. The art is, like I said, is beautiful and dynamic,
Thank you.
and it is able to blend these two. It's able to tell a story in two different ways with um, the the bleakness of one page, but then you go to the next page and it's warm and inviting and it's caring, and the writing is wonderfully messy at times, but you can feel there's an action that's right there, and it's a great story because we're getting to know these characters. So then once we
Thank
get to
you.
know them, then when things ramp up and they're there, we're like, ooh, and it catches
Mhm.
you. But the cliffhanger was very. I was mad at the cliffhanger for a second, and I said, okay, because I didn't have another issue to read. That's why I was mad, and I was
Did
like,
you
damn,
and then did you see the bonus page?
yes, yes, which I love. Oh, wonderful! I love like an after credits kind of a vibe,
Yeah.
and that's what that was. Yeah, because I thought it was
Mhm.
over. I was like, okay, it's over, and I kept going. And because I still saw that there was some more pages. I was like, oh, these are this is maybe like more other books that are coming. And I saw the pages. I was like, oh, all right, oh, okay, cool. So you have encapsulated like this would be a great like if it was on a streaming service now, but it will be in a matter of time.
Oh,
Um,
thank
I I love that scene. How that's something that you would see in an MCU movie or in series now that they've starting to do that. So that was a wonderful little touch to put in there because it makes all the difference. Because it makes you
you.
because from future books we'll go. Let me get all the way to the end because I remember in that issue she put something in there that I thought that I had missed. I had to go back and reread it. So that's a beautiful way to do it.
Thank
Cliffhanger
you.
and give me a little something extra at the end. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Thank you. I'm glad that that's how you felt because I wanted you to feel that way when you read it. Like, what? Wait a minute. Oh my. Mm.
I know I like a book and it's got me when I'm reading it, and I'm mad at the end because there's not another issue to read. I'm that way with a TV series sometimes too. When I've gotten to the end of it, when I'm at the end and I have to wait another week, I'm like, I gotta wait.
Yeah. We
Y'all are
we
y'all are a real
purposely
piece of work.
I'm torn because you wanna like we really love Bel Air. Like I really
Hmm.
love the way that Will Smith and other producers have really and even the creator I don't his name escapes me, but the adaptation that they did from this comedy to this drama,
Hmm.
we love it. But we was like we discovered season one, it was the 10 seasons had already played, so we could binge it in one
Right.
weekend. Now we have to wait. We have to wait now. And I feel the same way about Abbott Elementary. Like we discovered it at the end of the season one, so we binged it.
Hmm.
And now for season two, we have to wait, and all the little drama and I forgot, oh, Janine's,
Hmm.
what is she getting into this week? So yeah, but I love that type of storytelling. Like I love feeling that way, like, oh my gosh. And like the characters are in your face, they're sitting right in front of you.
Hmm.
And that's what I hope that readers will feel when they read this story. And and it's so many, hopefully, issue one really sets it up for you. But yes, this is very character driven, very dialogue driven, and the action does ramp up, and then at some point it's going to move a little bit faster. But I really wanted to take my time with developing these characters because
Yes.
that last book you're gonna be like, oh my, it's gonna be. I don't know if you liked Avengers Endgame at all, but
Mm-hmm.
that final scene, like one of those final scenes where they finally, Thanos is up against, Captain America, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Thanos brings out his army, and it's just the Cap right there. And then all of a sudden, you hear on your left.
Yes.
But it's because they took their time developing those characters and their relationships. And that one line brought back a flood of emotions, right? And that was like, that is great storytelling. So I really want people to fall in love with all of the characters, not just Luna, but all of the characters. So at that very last book in this series, you're gonna be like, whoa, I just want minds to be blown with, just like how ours were when we saw the end game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and just to get on my little soapbox, that's where I think that Marvel has messed up. These last set of movies, except of a few, um, didn't allow us to fall in love with the characters. You know, so I hope they slow down this year. I hope they get it together. But that's what made Phase One so beautiful. I feel like you fell in love with these characters. So I hope people do the same for Luna.
I'm definitely sure they will because, like I said, it was just a wonderful read, and
Thank
I
you.
was I was hit by the cover, and then this is one of those Kickstarters where I was like, I'm so glad that I put in. I'm so happy. And then when I got the email that was there, I was like, oh, okay, cool, it's here. And then I saw the cover, and I was like, wait, hold on, I didn't know it was gonna be like this. Nobody told me it was gonna be like this, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it on numerous levels, like I've already explained to everyone here. So on that note, Moon, thank you so very much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Do you have any final words for the people?
Yeah, if you want, thank you for having me. If you
Welcome.
would like to join my community, you can find me on Instagram or TikTok at Moon the Storyteller. So just search my name and I'm gonna pop right up. And I have some really great content on there. I have a series called Comic Book Noob where I discover new things about the comic books I never knew. And also I share some streaming picks of the month for people who like to watch television. And yeah. So just find me on Moon the Storyteller on Instagram or TikTok. And if you want to buy Luna, you can go to Konkret Comics
Mhm.
and go to their website. And we running a sale right now for Women's History Month. So definitely grab your copy of Luna and all the ladies of Concrete, Odina, Kandaki, and Luna.
Folks, I'm going to have the link in the episode description for
Thank you.
Moon the Storyteller's social media, and also the link so you can go grab Luna and you can go grab that women's bundle as well from Concrete. And that's it. Moon, thank you so very much for being here this evening.
Thank
I truly
you.
appreciate it. Thank you
Thank
so
you
very
for
much.
having me.
Folks, as always, look, do the best you can with what you got because in the end, that's all that you get. All right. I want y'all to have a good day or evening, whatever time it is that you're watching this. And drink some water before bed. It's very important. And lotion, as always, lotion. Drink water and lotion. Please get them elbows and ankles. Please. Spring is coming up. Y'all gonna be out here. Yes. Don't just do the webbing. I need y'all to get the ankle meat, everything. I'm telling you, I say this every year, every show. I need y'all to get that lotion. Fellas, especially us. Because I know that we don't like to lotion up during the wintertime. We just put on jeans and we go. No, we got to stop this. Legs looking like alligator legs. That's not cool. It's not cool. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, whatever time it is. And I'll see you later. All right.
Bye. Good
Thank you very
night.
much. Oh, remember to like, subscribe, share, all that wonderful things that we do here for the stuff. Yeah, I'm just rambling now, folks. It's been a long day. I've been up since 3 o'clock. Y'all have a good one. All right. Bye bye.
Bye.